Hi, welcome on my channel. This is Dana, and I speak on my channel about spiritual warfare. In this particular video, I will talk. God has guided me to talk about how, how bondage is being created, but a specific strategy. There are many ways in which bondage is being created. In this video, God has guided me to talk about one specific tactic strategy they use, and this is used by humans, by individuals, mostly, the secret societies, the institutions, and all of these matrix created by different structures, um, which essentially create bondage on purpose. They assume the role of God, creating certain events, traumatic events in your life, in order to take power over you. And I will detail here how it works. And this will be useful for you so you will understand how to fight it back. Okay. So this particular type of bondage creation stems from trauma bond. They specifically create a trauma in your life, so they are actually orchestrate a trauma in your life. And this will depend from individual to individual, because each individual can be traumatized by different things. Something that is traumatic for me might be indifferent for somebody else. It depends on the values you have. It depends on many things, right? So this is going to be very tailored on your specific psychological profile. Okay, this also shows how they watch you for a long time, and they investigate your case to understand how you function. So once they create this traumatic event in your life, which essentially will hurt you uh, uh, enough in order to reach a trauma level, right? So it's not something that just bothers you, but it's something that deeply hurts you and creates a trauma, which essentially opens your energetic field. This is the purpose they follow. Then the next thing is that they use that trauma to repeat it endlessly on your subconscious level by regression. So they do regression. So your subconscious level is going to repeatedly go through that event obsessively. Okay. Regardless, you might not even, if you don't have a high energy awareness, you might not even be aware on conscious level that this is happening to you. They do it at dream state. They do it on regression is a hypnosis state. So they do it in such a way so it will impact your subconscious level. Now, they achieve two things by doing this. On one hand, by replaying these traumas on your subconscious level, they literally use your own power to recreate the same outcome, to recreate that trauma in your life. Because this becomes something that you fear deeply because of the repetition, right? You fear deeply on subconscious level. These are the fears which you cannot explain yourself. Why are you afraid, I don't know, of taking certain decision, making certain decisions, taking certain risks? Those fears are created this way. So they recreate that trauma on your life using your own power on subconscious level. It becomes something you fear without knowing why you fear it, and this is why you fear it. By doing this on subconscious level at the dream state, for example, you don't fully know on conscious level, right, that this is happening. So you cannot even heal it. You don't necessarily focus on it, right? Now, another thing which they achieve by repeating endlessly this trauma on your subconscious level is that they strip you from your own power, right? Because as any wound, if you keep repeating that emotion, essentially it's going to lower your vibration, right? It's going to lower your vibration, and it's going to take your power away, simply because it's just repeated constantly, and becomes more strong. This is useful to them. How? because lowering your vibration, they strip you from your willpower. Many low vibration emotions come into play on such a background. You lack willpower, you lack self-confidence, you start lacking, you even can get into depressions. This is, the PTSDs, which come from nowhere and you don't understand why you have them, and so on. And they do this until they get you to a level uh, of such low vibration that they can access you. And they can start doing all sorts of other attacks, which normally they wouldn't be able to do, because if you would be staying in your own power, they wouldn't be able to access you at your level. So they start then doing telepathy, artificial telepathy, because your vibration is lower, so they can access it now. They started doing all sorts of attacks for mind programming through that trauma, because that trauma offers to them access to your subconscious level. And in your dream state, they can play with that as they want. Because what they need is only to open your energetic field. Once they open your energetic field, they can do holograms on you, they can do levitation on you, they can do many things, which essentially can lead either to program you, they will generate addictions, they will generate, which essentially you will not be able to understand why. And many people think this is coming from me, this is who I am. No, it's not who you are. No, it's not. It's something created on you. And their goal obviously is to steal your identity, to influence your decision making, so they can steal your power, to own you if they succeed in programming you and influencing your decisions. Or if they don't succeed to do this, if you still stay in your power, no matter how much they do this at you, they would at least gain your energy by vampirizing you, because as they do this on your subconscious level, your energy field, I don't know how to explain, this is a trauma. So do you remember when you wake up from a night, when you had a dream, a bad dream, a nightmare, you are all shaken up and you're weak? This is why, because as they do this trauma on your subconscious level, you lose power in all ways possible. It weakens you, right? It makes you feel bad. So this is because they vampirize you, they steal your energy in dream state by doing this at you. And if you do not accept to be programmed and you do not accept to be influenced by them, they would at least take your energy by vampirizing you, which is obviously even more traumatic for you, uh, naturally. And they will use this as they can. They will try to maximize, by taking ownership on you and forcing you into making certain decisions, so they will get more power over you. But if they don't succeed, that they would still take the advantage of vampirizing you, and taking your energy by aggression and by further trauma at you. um, Now this, by repetition, the sick-minded, of course, situation is when they succeed to repeat this as much and you don't do enough healing and so on, in order to recreate this outcome in your life. And you must be very cautious, because this is obviously happening in astral level. But you must be very cautious, because if something is being repeated endlessly with enough power on astral level, then it can become material reality. So, for example, if somebody is repeating on your subconscious level in astral or in dream state, that somebody succeeded to steal your house, or to fire you from a job, or to rape you, um, and if this is done successfully for many repetitive times, it can actually become reality, it can materialize. And I will talk in another video maybe that one of the projects that I wanted to work on was inspired by the situation in India. And actually in 2018 I was very keen on doing this. I was even planning to go in my spiritual journey to India for this purpose, and to Nepal, because there's a very high rate of rapes in India. And I have been investigating at that time, and I identified this as a cause And I even spoke actually to some of the organizations fighting for women rights in India about this, and they agreed with me when I told them my view, namely that this is being done on purpose by this kind of programming. So individuals are being programmed to do rapes in that country simply to lower the ranking of the country, because as you know, the purity of the woman and of course the divinely guided pairs, so if men and women which are divinely conceived to be together get to actually be together, not in a karmic relation but in a pure relation, that gives a very high power, so they can elevate in ranking a lot, both as a couple but also the country where they reside, or they have the citizenship, or they plan to stay. So because India is already too much advanced spiritually, they have done this for a long time, specifically as a strategy. So those rapes are being created. There's nothing wrong with Indian individuals. It's just that there are a lot of spiritual attacks on them, and they don't fight it right. India has spiritually a tremendous inheritance, and these strategies have been conducted in order to lower the ranking of this country. And please remember that also rapes are being used in material existence as war strategies in different historical moments. And even now, I mean, you have proof in Guantanamo Bay and so on are being used. Sexual abuse and rapes are being used to torture. So this is an instrument. Rape is an instrument of trauma bond creation, and of lowering the vibration and the spiritual level, and of course the ranking of certain individuals. And if you extrapolate at certain countries, okay. So when you have this kind of phenomenon on a country level, you must understand that this is a strategy. Anyhow, now this is a project which was very dear to me. I really, really wanted to work on this, but I didn't succeed to get to India in my spiritual journey. But I was planning to actually work on this, and I already made in 2018 some contacts there with some organizations which were working on helping women who went through rapes and so on. But what I mean to say is that this can become reality. This is what is most important to take note from this video, that while this is being done, this is how bondage starts to be created, because the main point is, the main important thing is for them to get access to you. Once they get access to you, they can have many ways in which they repeat this. But this is why healing is important. This is why bondage breaking is important, because as you do healing and bondage breaking, then they do not get enough power to repeat that in your life. Okay, you keep taking your power back until you actually have them one way or another punished for the wrong they've done. And this is very important, because otherwise they become material existence. Unfortunately, if people don't start spiritual fighting early enough, then you just encounter these situations repeating themselves in your life. Now, even if you got this far and you didn't start spiritual fighting, you should still sit and observe your life and see what are the patterns of things being recreated in your life, and how can you explain those. And if you cannot explain, you should always claim justice, judgment, and punishment, so God will reveal to you, because all of these are hidden information, hidden bondages, and you will not learn about it. And to be honest, for a healthy, for a healthy individual, for a normal, sane individual with God, living with God in heart, in soul, and in mind, it's not possible that you imagine all the atrocities they do. And it's not even possible to imagine who is involved, because this is so hideous. The closest people to you are involved: your husband, your father, your mother, your children, your um, co-workers, you cannot imagine your neighbors, of course. um, so it's very hard, because you wouldn't be a healthy person if you would have in mind all the atrocities they're capable of, and the high degree of betrayal that some individuals are capable of once they enter into these games and so on. Now, I think this is what God wanted me to say, because this is something that I've been working on. Just it's very recent. Just this night, I put together some of this, and this is very, very important to understand, because you must know that the most, in my mind, the most difficult fight you have in starting your spiritual fighting is to understand that you fight against humans, because God is next to you, and gave you all the gifts you need and all the power you need, and your spiritual team will come next to you to help you to fight dark forces. Again, dark forces follow astral rules. They do not break astral rules, because God is punishing them instantly. The only ones which have free will are the humans. Okay. And they are the most dangerous one, also because you give them your trust. To some of them you give them your love, right? And you always make excuses for them, and this is how, many of the toxic relations that you've been in are being created, regardless with whom. Maybe your school teacher, maybe your family, maybe your lover, maybe whatever. This is how they are being created on purpose. So you need to understand that this is being done on purpose, and it has a tremendous impact because it's on subconscious level. And this is why I said in my initial videos, you need to integrate your subconscious with your conscious level. And this is what happens through both spiritual fighting in terms of bondage breaking, but also through energy healing, right? And you need to do that in order for your conscious level to start understanding what has been done on your subconscious level, so you can start healing your subconscious level. And as I said in the previous video about oneness, you reach oneness when both subconscious and conscious level are being integrated and they stand in their own power, meaning your subconscious level is healed to that extent that no trauma can have effect on it, but the subconscious level can fight against these attacks all the time, because you're human. You are bound to sleep sooner or later. You cannot stay awake all your life, and as you go to sleep, all these attacks are start again. I said in other videos, many of them are password encoded, programmed to start on certain times. They use a lot of technology in doing this and repeating these attacks at you. So you really must get your subconscious level healthy enough, healed enough, in order to be able to fight for you at your dream state, so you can actually rest. Okay. Now, and obviously this can be done through bondage breaking and energy healing. And mostly, I must say that in my own experience, most of the deep healing, true healing, is done by God on you while you carry on this fight. I will say this, I don't know how to say it, with my full conviction. Although God repeatedly keeps showing me, look, you did this, you should be proud of yourself, you succeeded to do this. I know, and I feel it on my energy level. The deepest healing that you get on subconscious level, on DNA, on cell level, and so on, comes from the divine realm, from God's divine grace, from your spirit guides healing on you. And it's they can do this for you as you break the bondage, because you claim justice. Part of the justice is for God to send healing to you and erase that trauma. It will come back, but then God will send again. So it's a process. You have to keep fighting Because as long as you keep fighting and you claim justice, judgment, and punishment, God can send this to you. And one of the fake knowledge put out there, very damaging to everyone, is this craziness where everybody thinks there are God on earth, and they, they can do whatever with no consequences. There is no God. I have seen on Facebook people that approached me with different questions, and they would not even recognize God. They would say, I'm equal to God. Oh my God. I kept saying, have you heard of Lucifer and how he fell? How can you be fooled like this? So it's very important to understand, and I emphasize this, although God is never guiding me to say this, because God wants everyone to have self-confidence and keep fighting. But I will say this because I understand how important it is to understand that it will be God who saves you. But you must meet certain criteria for God to be able to intervene. And one of the criteria is fight. Fight for bondage breaking. Fight to stay in light. Fight for justice for you. Fight for judgment and punishment on them, because this is the only way you break out of this bondage. I know people have issues with claiming judgment and punishment, but you must know they will not ever break bondage if you don't claim judgment and punishment on them, because they will keep repeating it. It's as simple as this. They will keep repeating it. They will keep doing it. You heal, and they will create it again. So you must think very carefully. And again, I keep saying this. You can ask your own guidance from God. I only give you spiritual advice, which I firmly believe in because I experienced it myself, and I've seen most tremendous results in terms of success. But this is an advice. You can always do a prayer and ask God to come show you. Just claim justice and God will show you. I mean, instead of just sitting there and debating with yourself if it's true or not what I'm saying, you can ask, you can investigate yourself and make sure that this, first of all, that it is correct what I'm saying. Second of all, that if it applies to you specifically. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. This is the second video that I'm doing on bondage breaking, and this is the precise topic that perspective that I've been guided by God to present to you today. There are many others, and probably I will make other videos to present some of them. I'm not sure if all of them, because there are too many, but again, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I will be happy to answer. Please like and subscribe to my channel, so we'll make sure that whoever needs this will have access to this information and knowledge that I'm sharing, which might save their lives. I thank in advance to those who want to donate to support my channel. You'll find my PayPal link in the description box below. And of course, I'm deeply grateful to all those who have donated to support my work, to support my projects. I'll talk to you in the next video. Thank you.